7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, what's up? Good evening, Patriots. It's me, Brandon Straka. I actually feel the need to introduce myself because I feel like it's been so long since I've done a stream, you may not even remember who I am, and I kind of don't blame you at all. But honestly, I'm excited. Tonight's going to be awesome. We have a great conversation coming up. So we're doing something that I honestly really have barely done since 2018, which I don't, for those of you who've been with me for the long haul, going way back to the beginning when I launched Walkaway in May of 2018, you might remember that I started doing a live. I can't remember if it was Sunday night or Monday night. I was thinking it was Sunday night, but then recently I was going back through old pictures and videos because we're building a Walkaway timeline for WalkaCon. And they said that my podcast was on Monday nights. So I guess that must be it. But anyway, back on Monday nights, back in 2018, we were doing a live weekly show where I was talking to, usually we had a format of doing like 3 guests a night. The first guest was usually some sort of high profile figure like Dinesh D'Souza or Roseanne Barr or Antonio Sabato Jr., a number of other people. But the second guest was always a walkaway. And so we would take somebody who had a really hot walkaway video that was going really viral that week or had gone viral recently, pull them in, talk about their walkaway stories. And so we're going to do something really similar tonight. So a lot of you should know, hopefully know, we have our own app now called Walkaway Social. It's available in the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. So whether you're an Android user or an iOS user, Android or iPhone, iPad, what have you, you can load the app. It's a lot like Facebook. You just create an account. It takes just a few seconds to sign up. Once you've created an account, you can go into the Walkaway Campaign Testimonial group. You can go into your state groups. You can go into discussion groups. But again, in the testimonial group, people are once again uploading their stories, talking about why they're walking away from the left. And what's really cool about it is that we're now catching up on a lot of the stories that we missed in 2021 and 2022 after Facebook shut our group down. So we're attracting a lot of new people who recently walked away. And tonight we're going to be talking with several of them, including Natalie Beisner, who we'll bring on in a few minutes, and also a really cool couple. Both of them made walkaway videos for Walkaway Social, and that is Darrell Cooper and Zakiya Cooper. And so we have 3, and Mikey Harlow is going to be joining me as well. He's an old timer. I'm sure he'll love that. And of course, like Walkaway family, he's been with us for a long time. So tonight we're going to be swapping stories. You're going to hear some new stories, some old stories, and we're going to dig into why people are still walking away from 2021, 2022, 2023, and we're going to get a lot more people to walk away in 2024 because it's do or die time. I mean, this is it. I know everybody gets a little hyperbolic going into an election year. You know, everyone kind of says, oh, this is the most important election of our lifetime. And this is the most important crossroads. We've got to win. It's, everything is at stake. But guys, it's really true. And I know that you know that. I know you're seeing that. I mean, during those Trump years from 2016 to 2020, we know all of the amazing things that were happening in our country. A booming economy, business was coming back. We were energy independent. There were no new wars. We weren't so afraid of a foreign conflict. And all of that has absolutely disintegrated right before our eyes. In the last few years, we have seen this absolutely horrific pullout of Afghanistan. We have watched our foreign relations crumble around us, and now we're involved in conflicts all across the globe, and it feels like on the precipice of World War III. People are living in fear of terrorist attacks once again right here in our country because we have people flooding over the border. We have Hamas attacking Israel. People are speculative that perhaps there could be Hamas cells right here in the United States of America. This is all happening under Democrat Party watch. This is what happens when the grown-ups are in charge, as we've been told for the last 3 years. Well, with grown-ups like this, I'll personally take Trump any day of the week because you know what? I had a lot more money in my bank account. I felt a lot safer. I felt a lot happier, and everything was just going so much better. And we didn't have to live in fear of global conflict or terrorist attacks here in our country. Everything is a mess, and I know that you guys see it. So, I think that there's never been a more important time for people to walk away than right now. And it really is truly the most important election of our lifetime because, we can't predict the future. We don't know what's going to happen, but I can say that if we don't win, I can't even imagine what happens to this country. I can't imagine where we go from here. Tonight when we bring our guests in, we're going to talk a lot about cultural issues as well as political issues. We're going to talk about what's going on with the radical LGBTQIA agenda. We're going to talk about radical woke leftist ideology. And when I think about the disintegration of our culture and the political landscape, it's pretty horrifying. And if we cannot right the ship in next year when we go in and vote in 2024, I really don't know what becomes of our country going forward. So it is not hyperbolic to say this is the most important election of our lifetime. And I know that my team and I are going to work as hard as we possibly can to see to it that we can get as many people awakened, waking up and thinking for themselves, walking away from the radical left, walking away from the groupthink, the tribal mentality, the identity politics, and walking away from the Democratic Party. It's so important. I want to give you guys a quick update before we get started on my mom. I know a lot of you have been asking and have been concerned since my mom had a stroke a few weeks ago. I can honestly say we are so lucky and so blessed. We feel like she could not have had a smoother and better recovery. I would dare to say that she has had a 100% recovery from this stroke. The one part about this, obviously, that's not great is that because she had a stroke, they ran a battery of tests. And in the course of running these tests, we're able to discover that she has a small growth on the valve of her heart, which has to be removed and in all likelihood caused the stroke. And so my mom is going to be going in for open heart surgery tomorrow. And she's literally right over there in my guest bedroom as we speak. So we're very optimistic. She's incredibly healthy. She's very active. She's very fit. And it's not as though she's getting open heart surgery because she has an unhealthy heart or clogged arteries or, any number of other things. It's literally that there is just an abnormality, a growth that has to be removed. And if it's not removed, it could potentially grow or it could potentially cause another stroke. So at this point, we're choosing to just remain very optimistic because we really have every reason to be. And we're just feeling incredibly grateful and blessed. Honestly, to a certain degree, grateful and blessed that the stroke happened, because if the stroke hadn't happened, this may not have been caught. And what could have potentially come next could have been much, much worse. So all I ask is, say some prayers for my mom. Say some prayers for my mom because, it is going to be a rough road to recovery and surgery is not easy. But like I said, we have every reason to feel optimistic. The next thing I want to talk to you about before we get started is WalkaCon. So we will be November 10th through the 12th hosting Walkaway's 5th anniversary WalkaCon. And you guys, this is going to be a really incredible event. I actually think it's going to be the best event that we've ever done in 5 years. And I'm very proud of the events that Walkaway has done. So I want to give you an updated view of what our speaker lineup looks like. If you take a look here, we are going to have at WalkaCon Laura Trump. Mayor Rudy Giuliani has joined the speaker lineup. Absolutely incredible. We will have Carrie Lake, Matt Schlapp, Mercedes Schlapp. So that's actually a new addition as well. Just within the last week or so, we added Mercedes Schlapp and Rudy Giuliani. We will have David Harris Jr., Tudor Dixon, Shamika Michelle, Georgia State Rep Misha Maynor, who very publicly walked away from the Democratic Party just a few months ago. OAN's Dan Ball, comedian Alex Stein, Walkaway all-time favorite Katie Hopkins. We will also have Patrick Byrne, owner of Overstock.com, Kimberly Fletcher from Moms for America, Mikey Harlow, Dr. Gina Loudon, Gothics, Dr. Simone Gold, YG Nightstorm, and a whole slew of conservative comedians and newcomers to the movement like Adam Yenser, Josh Denny, Sean Farish, who does the most incredible Trump impression you've ever heard in your entire life, David Kitsack, Jerry Perna, Derek Evans, and Natalie Beisner, who will be joining us in just a few minutes. So this is our big event in West Palm Beach on November 10th. Friday night will be the major WalkaCon stage show where you'll get to see all of these speakers. You'll get to hear people talk about why they support the walkaway movement, why they themselves walked away if they are walkaways. And we'll get to take a trip down memory lane, looking at some of the greatest highlights and moments of walkaway, going back to the very beginning. It's really going to be something incredibly unique and special, not to mention the fact that we have Patriots coming from all over the country. I mean, truly, we already have sold tickets to people in California, in Washington, in Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Colorado, Nebraska, Idaho, Georgia, Tennessee. Of course, I'm going to leave out a bunch because I think it's literally like 20. Hawaii. We have people coming, several people coming from Hawaii. Texas, lots of people coming from Texas. So all over, literally, it's going to be a congregation of patriots from all across the country coming together to love one another, to engage in a weekend of inspiration and fellowship, and, you know, to really sort of rejoice in what the walkaway movement has been, where we are today and where we're headed, and to come together in love of patriotism and love for our country, and to really get our mojo going into, like I said, the most important election year of our entire lives. If you have not yet gotten your tickets to WalkaCon, go to walkawayanniversary.com right here. We still have VIP tickets available. We have general admission tickets available. You can get tickets for the whole weekend or for just individual events. So take a look, guys. I was just describing to you what's happening on Friday night. But then on Saturday in West Palm Beach, Florida, we will be hosting a Patriot rally. This is outdoors. It's free for anybody to attend. It's right down the street from Mar-a-Lago. So oftentimes in West Palm Beach, Florida, for people who are familiar with that area, there's a group of Trump-supporting patriots who will go and do these sort of freeway rallies. It's very safe. It's a very safe area, huge slab of concrete kind of off to the side. It's well protected and well guarded. Plus, we'll have our own security. But it's essentially kind of like a freeway rally. And so we decided, you know, like, hell, let's pop up our own freeway rally and do a walkaway Patriot rally. It's also Veterans Day, so it's a great opportunity to come out and celebrate America's veterans and just stand up for your country, stand up for veterans, stand up for America. It's going to be awesome. That's Saturday afternoon, totally free for anyone to attend. And then Saturday nights, we are doing Disorderly Conduct, the roast of Brandon Straka. My team put together some amazing walkaway and conservative comedians, as well as great personalities and just patriots who support the walkaway movement, to roast me, yours truly. It's going to be a really fun comedy event. It's, you know, very irreverent. We're going to laugh our asses off. It's going to be a great time. And there we have, you know, Alex Stein, Josh Denny, Mike Harlow, Sean Farish, Dr. Simone Gold, who in a way, I don't know if I'm alone here, but I'm almost looking forward to that the most, because Dr. Simone Gold, absolutely not a comedian, but we both went through the same J6 nightmare together. And so I'm kind of oh, and by the way, I got accused of turning her into the FBI and sending her to jail. Obviously, that did not happen, but that's how the media reported on it. So she and I have had a lot of good laughs about that. So I'm very excited to get roasted by Dr. Simone Gold. David Harris Jr., Shamika Michelle, Katie Hopkins, Julie Kelly, probably the best independent journalist covering January 6 issues. And it's all being hosted by a really great guy named Adam Yenser, who is with the Babylon Bee. So Saturday night's roast event is going to be incredible. And then on Sunday, the last day of WalkaCon, we'll be hosting a brunch with Carrie Lake as our keynote speaker. You'll also get a chance to ask questions one-on-one with Carrie Lake. Everyone will get a copy of Carrie Lake's book, and she'll be signing books for those of you who get VIP tickets and taking pictures for those of you who get VIP tickets to WalkaCon weekend. And then the last thing that we'll do right after brunch is we're popping up a panel discussion called The True Stories of January 6th, the prosecuted speak. These are January 6th defendants and their family members and people associated with the January 6th cases, sharing the true stories of what happened on January 6th and in the subsequent weeks when people got raided by the FBI and taken to jail and had their lives shattered by the Department of Justice. It's going to be very gripping and compelling, and that's included in the price of brunch. So if you guys, again, please go to walkawayanniversary.com. Everyone keeps telling me the tickets to West Palm Beach, plane tickets, are cheaper than they've ever been. Like, dirt cheap. Everyone's saying, oh my God, tickets are so cheap right now. And also on walkawayanniversary.com, we're offering discounted hotel rooms. So we'll get you cheap hotels. You can get yourself a cheap plane ticket. And we've made WalkaCon anniversary weekend really affordable for people. I mean, the cost of the entire weekend, including brunch and including a copy of Carrie Lake's book, is $200 for the whole weekend. And you know what? Because I'm feeling really generous right now, if you get tickets to WalkaCon between now and midnight tonight, I'm going to give you 50% off if you use the promo code FLASH. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking, I don't know, but it's a little too expensive, I'm not sure. If you get your tickets before midnight tonight and use promo code FLASH, I'm going to give you 50% off all tickets to WalkaCon. That's VIP tickets, that's general admission tickets, that's any individual a la carte tickets, everything 50% off using promo code FLASH between now and tonight. So get your tickets now. And the last thing I'll say on the matter, also get your Walkaway 5th anniversary shirt and hat. This is our special edition Walkaway shirt and hat that we're putting out for our anniversary. It says persevere, prevail, triumph, because we certainly feel that is what we have done over the last couple of years as we have endured our own personal hell at the hands of the FBI and the DOJ, who've tried, and big tech, who've tried so hard to destroy the Walkaway movement. But we're still here, we're still kicking ass, and we're going to be still here and still kicking ass for a long, long time. That I can assure you. So go to walkawayanniversary.com, get your tickets to WalkaCon, and come and join us for what I promise you is going to be the greatest weekend of your life. You're going to love it. It's going to be so much fun. So with that, I am going to shut my big fat mouth, and let's turn it over to some amazing guests who are going to share with you their own walkaway experiences, their own walkaway stories. We're going to chit chat with one another, and stick with us tonight during this stream, because I have a very, very special surprise announcement that just might surprise a couple of people on this stream. You're not going to want to miss it. So let's start introducing, first of all, one of my partners in crime who's been with me for the very beginning, literally since day one, literally was there when I shot my walkaway video, was there like holding up cue cards, helping adjust the lighting, way back in April or May of 2018 when we shot that original walkaway video. He's done every walkaway LGBT town hall with me. He's done a number of other walkaway events, like all the Walkaway Rescue America rallies, like the Unsilent March on Washington, and probably even other stuff that I'm not even thinking of right now. But I love this guy to death. He's one of us, and he's just an amazing dude. So please welcome my good friend, Mikey Harlow.
So nice.
Did you like that?
I loved that. It's
I
so
meant
rare
like
we're nice to each other.
I know. I meant like 25% of that. You can figure out which 25% I was being sincere about. How you doing, Mikey?
Good. I'm happy to be here. It's been too long on streams.
I know. Do you like my David Hasselhoff thing I have going on tonight?
I'm still upset that you called me an old timer. You're like Betty White age.
Well, you know something, I'm not going to reveal your age publicly, although I would like to. But I know that while you were still in your 20s, you were like really having now. I know. I didn't say you weren't still in your 20s. I just said when you were in your 20s, like you still are. You were already having a nervous breakdown about how old you are, and I've always tried to tell you, like, no, you're actually very, very young still, and it's all about how you feel, right, and how you project yourself.
It's like dog years.
It is. There's
25 is like gay 60.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things about being gay that are a lot like canine life. I will say, and
not just the creepy hats they wear. Dog mask.
Yeah,
that's
my
terrifying.
God. I know. Let's get our guests in here, and we'll get into we'll get into a lot of that. Who should we bring in next? I feel like I have to Sophie's choice. Should we bring in Natalie? We'll bring in Natalie because because Zakiya and Darrell made their walkaway videos most recently. So it doesn't matter because we're all going to talk at the same time. So my next guest that I'm going to bring in is Natalie Beisner. Okay, let me talk about Natalie Beisner. She's so awesome. She made a walkaway video, I don't know, months. I'm going to estimate 4 or 5 months ago, might have even been a little more. She can tell you. But her video was so good that she posted on Walkaway Social. And if you're not on Walkaway Social, load the app right now on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Take 20, 30 seconds to sign up, and you're going to love, once again, reading the written testimonials and watching the video testimonials of people walking away from the left. And we've already got tens of thousands of people on the platform. We already have hundreds, once again, of walkaway testimonials, written and video testimonials. And so you're going to love them. But Natalie uploaded her story, and then she took it and she also shared it to her Twitter account, which at the time was, nice size, but it wasn't like a massive account. But just based off of the strength of her message and how powerful her walkaway video was, it got something like 3.5 million views in like 24 hours or 48 hours or something. And last time I checked it, I think it was somewhere around 7 million views. And it's probably a lot more than that at this point, she can tell you. But anyway, her video was absolutely amazing. And she does a lot of kind of hot take videos from her car or just whatever on the go, just talking about items in the news and issues that are important to her, like pro-life, the abortion issue. She talks a lot about like the trans issue and, about woke issues. And I've told her before, I'm like, I think that you are one of the most powerful kind of up and coming voices in this movement, because her takes on everything are just so absolutely spot on, incredible. And she has this really brilliant way of articulating her point of view. So let's delay no further and introduce you to Natalie Beisner.
Hi, Brandon. Hi, Mikey.
Hi, Natalie.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I wouldn't have made that video if it weren't for you calling for them either on the app or over the email list or something. I don't know what it was, but I probably would have never sat down and made a 14-minute long video, because I tend to make 90-second videos on Instagram. So, well,
then if you made, you're very welcome. And if you made money from that video on Twitter, you owe me half of it. You just said it. So.
Fair enough. Okay. You might be disappointed at the money I've made from grifting for the right, but I will give you half.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think we're all often disappointed by the money we make grifting from the right. And I always tell people, every time they call me a grifter, which is like 25,000 times a day, I always say there's a lot better grifts and a lot better ways to make money than by doing free events in poor Black neighborhoods. It's not really the worst.
Yeah, people don't seem to know what it means. I think they just think it means someone who they disagree with, as opposed to someone who's lying. And all I can say is, I'm genuine. And Same. I haven't really made a buck. I know you both are too. Yeah.
Same.
I call myself an aspiring grifter. So whenever they call me a grifter, I'm like, oh, I've gotten a promotion.
All right. So let's pull in our remaining two guests for the night. So that's going to be Zakiya Cooper and Darrell Cooper. So they're a married couple who both joined Walkaway Social, and they both uploaded their Walkaway videos. Both of their videos were incredible and did astoundingly well. We copied them over to Twitter, to YouTube, and collectively their videos got millions of views. I mean, and just went absolutely hog wild crazy. And I'm not going to tell you much more about their story, because I actually kind of want them to share their story live with us here tonight. And then we'll kind of just get into the whole topic of leaving the left and what everyone's experience has been like. But without further delay, please welcome Zakiya Cooper and Darrell Cooper to the stream. Hey, guys.
What's going on?
How's it going over there?
Going pretty smooth. Pretty smooth.
Cool. Zakiya, do you have any male roommates living with you right now?
Not anymore, just him.
And he is, you've verified he's absolutely male, right?
Yeah, I'm verified. Oh, definitely.
It's verified and confirmed. It was never a question, Darrell. It was never a question. But, Zakiya's had some dodgy experiences.
Yeah, some PTSD.
For sure.
Yeah. So why don't we kind of start there, actually? Do you guys mind kind of sharing a little bit about, that story that you shared in your both of your walkaway videos? What happened?
Yep. So let's go ahead and get into it. So in 2021, I moved into my first apartment out of my parents' house, and the apartment the situation that was explained to me was it was going to be a Jack and Jill style dorm where you would share a bathroom with a roommate of the same sex. They explicitly told me it was someone of the same sex. So because I was broke and I was trying to move, I was like, whatever, let me move in there. And for 1 year, I did not have a roommate at all. So I had the space to myself and I was happy with that. And so as time goes on, I began to, before him and I were married, we were living apart, but I really liked being with him. So instead of staying in my apartment, I was kind of staying with him, but still like paying to live there. And eventually him and I ended up moving in together in my space. And when we moved back in, that's when I came to realize that I had a roommate, because I could see from the bathroom that it was showing signs of being occupied by somebody. And because the toilet seat was always being left up, I was like, is it a man? Like, and so my assumption was, because they told me I was going to have a same-sex roommate, I assumed that whatever girl moved in with me, she had her boyfriend like I did. So, that was just my thought process. And I was like, I guess, he's dirty, but it is what it is. But I came to find out that it was actually a man. And this was because I encountered this person coming out of my room at the same time. I saw him, and it was a man that was undergoing some type of hormone surgery. Yeah, he had that going on, but it was a very tall man with very long hair. And I was like, wow. So y'all aren't even going to give me a warning. So as I explained in my walkaway video, I kind of was just like, I'm not paying these people no more. I'm going to stay here, but I'm not paying y'all. I don't know what y'all got going on. Maybe y'all thought I moved, but this is not going to fly. Like, this is ridiculous. And so eventually I ended up getting in contact with my housing manager just to get things sorted out to see what happened. And she's like, oh, yeah, with that situation, we actually weren't allowed to discriminate against him. So we were required to give him a roommate of the same sex. I'm like, how? But this is a man. He's using the toilet standing up. He leaving the seat up. I don't use the toilet like that. So evidently it's some different things going on. And
wait, Zakiya, can I ask you a question? Sorry to cut in just for a second. Like, can you kind of give us can you paint a picture for us of how, to what degree this person was presenting as female? I'm just curious. Like, did they seem female?
No. The voice, the voice sounded like we could hear him through the walls. He would always be playing the game.
His voice was deep like mine.
He had a voice like his.
Oh,
yeah. So I couldn't tell. The only thing that looked feminine about him was his very long hair. But other than that, no, nothing.
Absurd. Mikey, chime in on this?
Well, I think it goes to show why the left controlling language and redefining words is really one of the most important issues. That, it used to be that there were a small number of people who were transsexual and felt happier transitioning, and that's cool. Nobody had a problem.
Mikey, can you get closer to your microphone?
Oh, sorry. Now it means anything, anyone, any man. Like, he probably didn't even need to have long hair to just say he's trans. Anyone can say that they're trans, get into women's spaces. There was somebody who just won a lawsuit against a sorority, just a man who was sexually harassing women, pulling his pecker out in front of them at a sorority. And so they asked him to leave. He sued them and won for discrimination. And this is not a transsexual person. This is just a man who's a pervert.
Yeah.
These are the weirdest times that we're living in right now. And I'm sure you guys probably saw the video recently that was going viral on social media where, was it your friend Billboard Chris? When the professors came down, I mean, it may not have been him. I thought it was, but like the professors came down because he was standing out in kind of the courtyard of the school. And they had like 15 like professors and students that were coming out saying that all of the students who didn't identify as male or female were feeling like they were basically, being the victims of violence based off of the messaging on his signs and stuff like that.
Yeah, we saw that video.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're just accepting this now as like, oh, well, all the people who aren't male or female, like, sure. That's Natalie. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's something that I've spoken about before, which is that the left continues to hurt the very people that it claims to want to help. Obviously, women are a big group that they claim to be really advocating for. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to a woman and a man who's having a mental illness, that he's actually a woman, the latter wins out. And so it's always this thing of, well, who's the most oppressed in this situation of two people? And they end up harming the very people that they claim to want to help. I mean, continually. In this case, a Black woman. So it's like, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. But I don't really know what I haven't seen your video yet, Zakiya. So did this person have access to like your kitchen and your room? I mean, your room obviously had a lock, but
Yeah,
was it
the apartment, it had like a kitchen that was downstairs. So it was like a community kitchen. But the room, it was just like a bedroom area, and we shared a bathroom. So he did have access to the bathroom, the toilet, the shower, and that space.
Yeah, and that's so, I mean, you can say it for yourself. I mean, that's wildly anti-woman and so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I never thought I'd experience anything like that, honestly. Even though I knew the climate of society, I just didn't think that would directly affect me. Never would have thought.
And this was your college, your university?
No, it wasn't. I wasn't in university. It was just an apartment.
Yeah,
it was dorm style living. So
yeah,
Darrell, what was so Darrell, what was your experience? I mean, because obviously at a certain point you probably became concerned and got involved in the situation, and what happened next?
Yeah, once she reached out to the housing manager, and she basically said our hands was tied. They moved us out of the room, and at that point, that's when we really started to look into what was going on and trying to find somebody that's talking about this. And we came across guys like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and people, conservative folks, and it seemed like they were directly talking to us, because it was just crazy that you couldn't really see no like liberal platforms even really talking about it like that. It's kind of like, it is what it is, and nobody really has a problem with it. So when we got into the politics, and we realized, we started to evaluate our own morals and what we believed in, and we realized that we were basically just conservatives, like real Christian conservatives. And at that point, that's when we I was also, but she was too, we was also on our spiritual journey. So it all kind of just came together and really caused us to self-reflect. And at that point we were like, well, why aren't we married yet?
Yeah.
I love that. So you proposed, or you got married?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
With the quickness.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know who this comment was for, but someone in the comments wrote, "They're gay. Are they married and gay?" No, Darrell's a man.
Wait a minute.
And Zakiya's a woman, and they're heterosexual, and someone in the audience is not keeping up.
Were they referring to you and Mikey, though? I mean,
I did wonder that. If one of our audience members doesn't know whether Mikey and I are married or not, I would rather they think that Zakiya and Darrell are gay and not married. No, Mikey and I are not married.
We would be dead if we were married by this point.
Oh, God.
True. And it's like, that would be incest. It's just not natural. Okay, so I want to ask Darrell and Zakiya, like, what was your... did you consider yourselves political, or like culturally, did you kind of align with the left at that point, or like where did you stand on these sort of cultural issues at that point before it happened to you?
Okay, so for me personally, I was actually very liberal. I voted Democrat my first time voting. I didn't vote for the general election, but I did vote for a local election. And I asked my mom and dad who I should vote for. They said Democrats, because we vote Democrat. That's for Black people. And the high school that I went to, which is in Chicago, was extremely, now that I've been red-pilled, I realize this. I can look back and say that school was extremely liberal, and it was teaching me a lot of liberal things and had me very radicalized. And I didn't even realize it. So I was definitely on the left. I attended a Black Lives Matter protest in 2020. Like, I was full left.
Yeah, left. I wasn't as far left. I was just like an uninformed voter. I did vote for like the mayor or something. And the same thing happened when I asked my mom, like, man, who should I go vote for? She like, vote Democrat. Why you vote Democrat? Because they for the Black people. I'm like, oh, okay. So I just went to the polls, and whoever, I don't even remember if they had the colors, or somehow I was able to identify who was Democrats and just voted for straight Democrats. But I didn't necessarily know the policies. And no, I didn't agree with it even before the red pill. I just kind of was based in reality to a certain extent. So I wouldn't have agreed with it anyway if I would have just looked into it.
Got it. Natalie, I want to kind of toss over to you for a second. Can you give us kind of a breakdown of what your life used to be like before and what kind of led you to have an epiphany?
Yeah, it's similar to what Darrell just said. I was kind of not really involved in anything, but it was sort of reflexively Democrat because I was born in Southern California and I was an actress, and it's kind of just what people did. And my epiphany came in summer 2020. Prior to that, very briefly, like I said, had been an actor. I'm not an actor anymore, but I had seen this shift in 2018, I think. I was still so liberal at the time. I hated Donald Trump. I hated it all, but I wasn't involved. But I saw this shift towards race essentialism above everything else. And I saw it in theaters that I'd been a part of for a long time. And it was really just putting someone's skin color above everything else. And it didn't sit right with me. Like I said, I was still very liberal. I think it was the first time I heard the word white privilege, the phrase white privilege also did not sit right with me. Because no one could ever really explain it to me. I still don't really know what it is. I make videos on it. It seems like people have a very different idea of what it means. And it seems offensive to me. It's offensive to the experience that I've seen my family go through. But I still kept quiet about it. But that was sort of, I guess, like the seeds. And then summer 2020, obviously we all went through COVID at the beginning of 2020, and I lost my jobs overnight. And I was totally on board with all the COVID stuff. I was doing my part. But as the months went on, I really needed to get back to work. I don't know. I need to work. I'm sure people on this live stream and watching can understand. And I started to have some real questions about how we were responding to COVID, the weird arrows on the ground. People would yell at me for not wearing a mask outside, even though I would be across the street. And I would wear a mask inside. I'm not like a contrarian at all, but it was just these weird things. I'm not a scientist, but it was very bizarre. And then summer 2020, when George Floyd died, and it was abundantly clear to me that I could go out and protest or riot on behalf of George Floyd and on behalf of BLM. And I'm sorry that George Floyd died the way that he did. I think it was a tragedy, but it blew my mind that there were people suffering of all colors, from every background, who couldn't go to work, who wanted to go to work, who maybe wanted to see family was dying, but you could go out and protest, or worse, on behalf of this one thing, even as we were allegedly all about to die from COVID. That blew my mind. Any way you cut it, it seemed like crazy, because, okay, you're telling people to go out and protest for BLM. Do you want them to die from COVID? Are you trying to kill the people who would protest on behalf of BLM? And obviously now in retrospect, but even at the time, we know it was okay because they were outdoors, all of that, but it didn't make any kind of sense. And every time I ask about it, I was told that I was racist pretty much, and that I should read, How to Be an Anti-Racist in White Fragility, which I ended up reading, but I also needed a freaking job. So that blew my mind. And it was not just like this one-time thing, like, oh, sorry, we lost our minds. That continued forward. And there has never been, it's been shown now that so much of the response to BLM has hurt the Black community because of less police forces and things like that. The death rates went up. But regardless of that, I live in LA, and we had after that, for a long time after that, we had mask mandates till 2022, and we had vaccine passports, which was after I left the left. So it was clearly not this like blip on the radar. And what I saw, last thing, and then I'll hand it over to someone else. What I saw at the time was I saw these mom and pop shops, and I don't know who owned them, whoever owned them, I don't care. But I saw them have to close down again in June and July of 2020, when they had just barely been allowed to open, and with such heavy restrictions, like plastic and dividers up everywhere and 2.5 people allowed in. And I saw them have to board up and write Black owned and whatever else. And I don't care if you're really Black owned or not, like that's crazy to me. Like, what is, that's so bad for the entire community. And to think that this happened in the middle of this unprecedented situation when we were all just trying to survive, I've never once heard an apology, and I don't personally deserve an apology, but I've never once heard any kind of reckoning from anybody who pushed this kind of stuff. And that was enough for me. I've been proven right every single day since that day that I left.
Well, our numbers in Walkaway campaign, this is before Facebook banned our group, actually doubled in 2020. And it was really fascinating because a lot of the people that were joining were very young. I mean, we were having this huge onslaught of testimonials coming in from people, I would say 24, 25, 26 years old. And the vast majority of them were either because they felt very pushed away and alienated by the BLM riots, or because of the government shutdowns and COVID and what was going on with that. And then, of course, there were also a lot of business owners, I think, as well. But I wanted to ask you, when you brought up the term white privilege, and you said that was kind of, that was, you remember that being new to you at the time, and that it was offensive to you. It got me thinking about the fact, and I think about this a lot, have you ever noticed that with the left, when they're introducing some sort of new concept, which I think the majority of us here would agree is usually absurd and ridiculous and not true, but let's just for a minute pretend like it is. If they're introducing a new concept like, 87 different genders, or, that the world is going to explode from climate change in 12 years, or systemic racism, what have you, it's always done with so much anger and a sense of sort of hostility, and this attitude of believe what I'm telling you or else you're stupid and bigoted. And it just always makes me wonder, if you truly believe in what you're saying, why wouldn't you want to, in a very kind of calm and polite way, try to encourage people to see things your way and explain to them what you think that you believe in a way that would just compel people to agree with you? But it never really seems to be that way, does it?
No, and I'm sure this cuts to many things, but white privilege and these ideas around critical race theory, which go back decades to Derek Bell and the college system, who wanted to go back to segregation and segregated schools, et cetera. He was a Black man who thought that we had it right with segregation. But regardless, the really insidious thing about this is that when you say, oh, no, I don't really get white privilege, I don't think I have it, I don't understand it, that's your white privilege, So speaking to your point, it's like you cannot question anything. And I'm willing to, obviously I'm a reasonable person. Like I said, I was on board with COVID. I think I'm a reasonable person completely. And I'm willing to admit that probably someone who has a different skin color has had a lot of different experiences than what I've had. But this idea that my life has been very soft and easy, and that if I push back on that in any way, or need to go to work during a pandemic, but I'm allowed to go out and protest, that's my white privilege, that's very off-putting. And are they trying to change hearts and minds? No, I don't think so. I think they're trying to basically cudgel people into submission. It's a very Marxist, communist, authoritarian, kind of fascist thing from the people who constantly scream fascism. They don't actually want to change hearts and minds. They don't want to tell, different stories and hear these different opinions. They don't want diversity of thought. That's what I was seeing in 2018 with the theater. It's not about telling stories. It's about, well, no, we need to uplift, one skin color and that kind of thing. So it's once you see it, you can't unsee it.
That's right. And I'll say that many times I wonder if there's almost this attempt to get white people. I think you just used the phrase kind of into submission, but I also sometimes wonder if they want white Americans to kind of just shut down emotionally, because if you any race of people, I think, has their button, right? Or multiple buttons. There are certainly things I could say to Black people that would get an emotional reaction from them. Words I could use, things I could say, and same thing for anyone else. But if you'll notice, when somebody says something offensive about a white person, white people are so this, or white people are so that, right? Or white people are inherently racist. If we have a reaction to that, they say that we're fragile. They even have this. So it's like they want to just tell us what we are and who we are. And if we have any sort of, guttural emotional reaction to that, it's because of another thing that's wrong with us, that we suffer from white fragility.
Yes.
But why aren't other
Meanwhile,
races
everybody
fragile?
else gets to be fragile,
Right,
and we
correct.
don't get to be. The last thing I'll say on this, though, is I did actually read How to Be an Anti-Racist. I have heard that he has since removed this from his book. I don't know whether it's true, but Ibram X. Kendi wrote in How to Be an Anti-Racist verbatim, the only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. The only remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination. And anybody with two brain cells to rub together can see that that is a recipe for endless discrimination for decades or centuries down the line, for white people to be like, well, you did this to us for centuries, blah, blah, blah. It's a never ending cycle. And so I cannot be on board with that. I'm willing to listen to other people's points of views, obviously willing to teach history, all of that. And that's what I see so much on the right or on the center. But this idea that discrimination now is good because we have to right these wrongs, and then in the future we'll be endlessly righting wrongs, that's a no for me. Sorry.
Yeah. I think we have a question here for Zakiya and Darrell. JD is asking, I'd like to know how family and friends have reacted. I'm assuming that means to you walking away. And if your family and friends are also being enlightened by your own awakening.
Okay, so as far as family and friends, they believe that we're brainwashed. They think most people just don't believe us. Like we're constantly posting and tagging people with our content, our podcasts, all of our, just our newfound enlightenment, and people just aren't even interacting with it. It's very disheartening, honestly, because we just want to spread the truth and people aren't even really comfortable having the conversation with us. They see my video and the first thing that they see is the Trump hat, so they don't want to watch it. And I'm like, wow.
What about you, Darrell?
My family, they actually pretty indifferent about it. My mom is like really, really, really based. She had all boys, so she has to live in reality. So she understands. She understands. Like, she likes Trump. Her husband, not so much. He's like a pro-black Israelite type of guy. White man bad, black man good. We're oppressed, we're victims. But she's kind of like, everybody got their struggles. I rock with Trump. And she understands. Like, I talk to my mom a lot. My dad's not into politics. Like most of my family is just kind of like, oh, screw politics, they all bad. Like 99% of black people are like that. They just think that all politicians are bad all the time.
Let me ask you, because I don't, first of all, I don't presume that you speak on behalf of all black people. And I also know that, like, these narratives, they pop up on both sides. I do think that mostly the left controls the narrative and manipulates the narrative. But, when Trump got, he's been indicted 4 times, and recently Trump, mugshot in Georgia. And when his mugshot was released, a lot of people on the right, including myself, were highlighting a lot of stories of Black Americans who were kind of like, I'll use the word intrigued by the fact that Trump is facing all these legal issues. And, I believe a victim of the criminal justice system at this point being weaponized against him and other conservatives. Do you think that there's any truth to at least sections of Black America who are, through all of the, the criminal prosecutions of Trump, starting to be like, wait, maybe things aren't the way we thought they were with the right?
I really don't.
You don't?
I don't. I think that they can acknowledge that he has a mugshot, and so they're coming for him. They understand that regard, but at the end of the day, it's like with people I know, they'll say that Republicans are racist. That's it. Yeah. So they don't even take the second step.
Yeah, it's really just scratching the surface. They see the mugshot, they're like, oh, they getting a taste of their own medicine. This is what we feel like, quote unquote, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
So you feel like there's probably a larger percent, or it's more about like sort of like a vengeance or a justice or like a righteous retribution, rather than looking at it as, oh, like maybe we should vote for the guy who's being victimized by the system the way that we've been saying for so long people of color are victimized by the system.
I think it's a little bit of both. You got some people that's actually looking into it because he's getting prosecuted, and then there's other people that's just happy that he's getting cooked.
Yeah, and meanwhile the question remains, like, what did he do to anybody?
Yeah.
Couldn't
You
tell
know?
you. Nobody knows.
Mikey, what did Trump do? Why is everyone so mad?
He ran against Hillary, took away her term.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, I think what we were saying before, though, I really think the goal of it is to cause animosity between black people and white people. If you look in 2020, they were saying that BLM is just black people. We will sit here and say, obviously, nobody speaks for an entire race. In 2020, they were saying Black Lives Matter speaks for all black people. They are one. So then what were people seeing on TV every day? Black people, according to them, burning cities down, even though it was just as many white liberals. And I mean, you guys remember signs that would be on windows of businesses saying, I'm a single mother, please show mercy, this is all I have.
Yep.
So it's like you said, Brandon, what
Heartbreaking.
sort of feelings are these people going to have after walking away blaming black people for this? So it really is just to have everybody at each other's throats.
And that
Terrible.
goes back to that idea of hurting the very people that they claim to want to help continually. Minorities, women, people at the border, et cetera, et cetera. It's all this like veil of compassion. And it is well-meaning a lot of times, I'm sure, not from the higher ups, but from regular Americans. It's hard to keep up with things. It's hard to tell truth from fiction, but it's toxic compassion.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, they've been trying now for years to push this notion of intersectionality. You know, and I do think that there are common struggles that, you know, different groups might have, but at the end of the day, I don't think it really truly works. I don't believe that. I mean, I don't think that just because some, you know, black people might feel victimized, or, you know, LGBT people might feel victimized or whatever, that suddenly they're all going to come together, joining hands, singing Kumbaya, and be like, no, we're all on one like victimhood team. But now it's sort of like this interesting thing is happening where, as Mikey has said many times, the snake eats its own tail, kind of. And, you know, especially with the trans issue that's been pushed so far, now it's put feminists in this very precarious position. And I mean, what do you think about that, Natalie, when it's like you have women on the left who have been, you know, carrying this torch of women are victims of American society, but now you have biological men / trans women winning all the awards, winning all the sports, and occupying women's spaces. And now feminists have a decision to make. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's another case of, I like that, eating its own tail. And I think that's the point of intersectionality. I think it's like what I said in the beginning of, when there's two people or two groups, who is the most oppressed? And so we see these things with like Dave Chappelle versus the trans community. And normally we'd be on Dave Chappelle's side, but it's the trans community. And it's constantly like that. It doesn't matter. You take each situation and you try to figure out who is the most socioeconomically oppressed. And then you go with that person, even though if it goes against everything you just said 2 seconds ago. So I think that is the point of intersectionality. But yeah, I mean, I feel, I don't consider myself a feminist. I've spoken about this many times before. I feel kind of badly for old school feminists who are probably coming to a big reckoning. I think they created it. I think that for a long time, and I know that on this live stream, probably we all have different views about abortion and feminism and things like that. But for decades now, for decades upon decades, definitely since the sexual revolution, we have been telling women to be like men, to succeed like men, to work like men, to reproduce like men, or to control our biology so that we don't reproduce in the same way that men don't reproduce. And so I definitely stand firm against the trans ideology, but it doesn't take rocket science to figure out how we got here. Because no one can really tell you what a woman is. And I don't just mean adult human female. No one can really tell you what a woman is different from a man in society. And I obviously don't mean everyone has to be barefoot in the kitchen, but what is a woman? What does a woman bring to a home? What does a woman bring to a relationship that is different from a man? And no one can tell you that. And women have been, trying to be in men's spaces, be in their work, be working like them, be working the same number of hours, looking at our biology, our menstruation, our ability to conceive as some kind of burden for decades. So it's no surprise how we got here. And I have, only so much sympathy for the feminists. And I understand it's a different time, and they marched and they did this and that, and maybe I should be thanking them. I don't. I only have so much sympathy for old school feminists who are sitting here crying about men taking over women's spaces. I mean, it's not the same thing, this idea of a mental delusion, but it is, everybody's very confused about men and women being complementary.
Yeah. Well, let me say real quick. Sorry, real quick, Mikey. I just wanted to say thank you to Shay for the super chat. So thank you so much. And please, if you guys want a super chat, you're helping to support the Walkaway movement. So thank you for that. Please continue to do that. And also, guys, keep throwing comments in the chat because we're reading them. And if you have any other questions, please let us know. Keep the chat coming, y'all. Sorry, Mikey, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it really goes to show what you always say, Brandon, that their words mean absolutely nothing. Because we've been told by leftist feminists for years now that we live in a rape culture, that we live under, I mean, go watch the Barbie movie, we live under the patriarchy. I mean, back in, we had the Me Too movement, and back, I believe it was 2018 or so, Netflix said that because it is of patriarchy and women being so oppressed, they instituted a policy saying that men cannot look at women in the eye for longer than 5 seconds. So we have been told this, that things women are in the ultimate patriarchal rape culture, but now they're saying they flipped on that real fast and to say that women don't even deserve their own spaces. Even
real quick,
rape centers, women can't just be by themselves. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Real quick, you guys. Sorry to cut you off, Mikey. Dean Kruger's asking, and a couple of people have asked if you guys have social media people can follow. Natalie, someone was asking if you have Instagram, and Dean's asking if you guys have YouTube. So let's just take a second for everyone to go around and tell how people can follow you. Natalie, you go first.
Yeah, I mean, if you just search Natalie Beisner on Instagram, it's Natalie Jean Beisner, Jean. On Twitter, it's NJ Beisner. I think if you just type it in, I have YouTube, but just type in Natalie Beisner, which is on the screen, and you'll find me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Zakiya and Darrell.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or X, TikTok, YouTube at Locked In with Zaza. On X, there's an underscore at the end, but it's Locked In with Zaza.
On X and Instagram is Choo Choo Beats. On YouTube is Chew on This.
Perfect. Thank you, Mikey.
Oh yeah. Also, if you guys are watching on YouTube, the links to YouTube channels are in the description. I have a YouTube channel that I have a live show I do called Microaggressed. It's my channel is just my name, Mike Harlow. I'm on Twitter at not Mike Harlow. Sorry, I'm not calling. I don't care if it identifies as X. It's Twitter. Or I'm on Instagram at Mikey.Harlow.
Yeah, I'm having trouble changing the pronouns on that one too. So obviously I'm on Twitter, X, at Brandon Strock. My handle on everything is my name, at Brandon Strock. So please give me a follow. Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, Facebook. If you're not already following Walkaway, take a second and do it. We're on Twitter. And we've actually had a great couple of months since we launched Walkaway Social. We've grown quite a bit and gotten a lot more engagement on the Walkaway testimonials that are coming out again. So that's at Real Walkaway on Twitter. We just launched a TikTok account at Real Walkaway. Please don't write me 10,000 emails telling me I'm supporting the Chinese Communist Party. I already know. It doesn't matter. We're going to try to reach people wherever we can reach people. It is what it is. I know. Please don't rip me a new one. I don't need it. Follow us on YouTube, of course. Subscribe to the Walkaway Campaign YouTube channel. I'd tell you to subscribe to my Brandon Strock YouTube channel, but it's been so suppressed for like 3 years. I get like 2 views, even though I have 75,000 subs. So, I mean, go ahead and subscribe, but you'll never see my videos, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to take a minute to once again plug WakaCon, and then we'll take a few little looks at what people are talking about in the chat. And then I have a very special surprise here. And then we'll probably wrap up early tonight because, like I said, my mom has surgery tomorrow, and I want to spend some time with her. So let's just real quick talk about WakaCon. WakaCon is going to be awesome. On Friday night, November 10th in West Palm Beach, Florida, we're going to have all of these amazing speakers over here. So this is Friday, November 10th. We have Lara Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Carrie Lake, Matt Schlapp, Mercedes Schlapp, David Harris Jr., Tudor Dixon, Shamika Michelle, Misha Maynard, Dan Ball, Alex Stein, Katie Hopkins. Should I just keep going? Patrick Byrne, Kimberly Fletcher, Mikey Harlow, Dr. Gina Loudon, Gothics, Dr. Simone Gold, YG Nightstorm, Adam Yenser, Josh Denny, Sean Fresh, David Kitsack, Jerry Perna, Derek Evans, and everyone's favorite, Natalie Beisner, who's with us here tonight. So Friday, November 10th is going to be amazing. Our big kickoff, huge event. You guys are not going to want to miss it. And then Saturday, we're doing a Patriot rally outdoors during the day. Totally free to attend. Everyone should come and be a part of it. Saturday night, we are doing the roast of Brandon Straka with some amazing conservative and walkaway comedians and personalities, people in the movement. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. You guys are going to have a great time. Sunday brunch with Carrie Lake on Sunday, November 12th. She'll be signing books and taking pictures. You're not going to want to miss that. Right after brunch, don't look at what's about to come on your screen. Nope, that's already done. The true stories of January 6th. And this is the prosecuted speak. So real January 6th defendants and family members sharing their stories about what life has been like since they have been raided by the FBI and dragged through hell, really, by the DOJ. And you're not going to want to miss this weekend. It's going to be really, really great. All you have to do is go to walkawayanniversary.com. Oh, and people are asking about discounted hotels. All of that information is available, you guys, right here at walkawayanniversary.com. So if you go to walkawayanniversary.com, you'll get more detailed information about all of the events, everything that's happening over those 3 days, November 10th, 11th, and 12th. We have discounted hotel rooms for all of you and tickets, of course. And also, if you can't make it, but you want to support what we're doing, you can make a donation. There's a big donation button there. Please use it. Support Walkaway, support the work we're doing so we can reach as many people as possible. As I said before, we're going into a very crucial year next year, and we have to reach as many people as we possibly can. So, can I make a very special announcement, though, now? Yeah?
Yeah.
So, I was contacted by a donor and supporter of Walkaway, a woman named Diane, and she said that she has a family member who's not doing very well. So she really wanted to come and be a part of WalkaCon. Diane has done a lot of Walkaway events. She lives in California, but she's not going to be able to make it this time. So what she said was, what I would like to do is sponsor a walkaway to be able to come and enjoy WalkaCon because I can't go. And so I talked to her a little bit about it and we negotiated a little bit. And so what she's actually going to do is sponsor 2 people, flights, hotels, and tickets to WalkaCon. And we would like to offer that to Zakiya and to Darrell. We would love for you to be our guests at WalkaCon.
Wow.
We'll cover your flights. We'll cover your flights. We'll cover your hotels, and we'll cover your tickets. And we just want you to come and have a blast with us at WalkaCon. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Cool. All right. So it's going to be a big family weekend. I'm so excited you guys are able to make it. Give me a buzz when we wrap up tonight's stream, and we'll get everything all situated and hooked up for you guys. It's going to be a blast. I'm so excited to meet you in person. And cool. I'm just glad you're excited.
Will they have to room with a trans?
Right.
Yes. You are going to have to share your room with a biological man, but that's the only catch. The only catch. But the biological man is Darrell, so you're lucky. No, it's going to be really awesome. And so let's wrap up on that. And I'll say, so when I had this conversation today with our donor, Diane, who came up with this idea and is sponsoring two walkaways to enjoy WalkaCon, it got me thinking, we have about 3.5 weeks until WalkaCon. I actually want to grow this idea. I would estimate, it probably costs about $1,000 for a flight, a hotel, and, tickets to WalkaCon. So if anybody out there wants to donate, say $1,000 to sponsor someone to come to WalkaCon, so they can, maybe it's somebody on the fence, maybe it's somebody who's kind of an independent and undecided. Maybe there are people out there who are like, I'm thinking about walking away, but I'm not sure. Your funds could be used to sponsor someone to come for an amazing weekend where they can listen to incredible speakers sharing their stories about what their life is like now that they've walked away and why they walked away and why people should walk away. and we could reach a lot of people. So think about that, you guys. We're gonna create an easy link for people to go to if you want to sponsor a walkaway to come to WalkaCon. And maybe it doesn't have to be $1,000. If you can put in $50, if you can put in $20, 100, 500. Let's just try to raise some funds and get as many people to come and enjoy WalkaCon as they possibly can. And so excited that Zakiya and Darrell are going to be joining us.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Brandon, you said her name is Diane and she's
Yes.
having health problems. In case anyone wants to pray for her, I don't know.
It wasn't Diane herself. It was her aunt. She has an aunt who's entering into hospice care, and she's her caretaker, the aunt's caretaker. Yeah. So yes, if anybody wants to pray for Diane, that would be actually amazing. Mm-hmm. And we want to say thank you to Diane for her generosity too. And it was,
you, Diane.
Yes, thank you so much.
Great idea. Yeah. So any closing thoughts from everybody before we wrap up?
I just want to say, Brandon, I'm just so happy that I came across the Walkaway app. I came across this your app by accident because I was actually looking up my original video I created talking about my experience on my YouTube channel. And when I was looking it up, I came across a bunch of people's stories. And then I found out the Walkaway wormhole. And I was like, wow, this is the best thing ever. Like, what the heck? I never thought I'd be able to find this many people who went through pretty much the exact same experience. It's crazy how everybody, like, if you've gone through this, you know. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So I'm really
glad to hear that. Thank you, Zakiya.
So you had made a video before you even knew about it.
Yeah, because I just wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so great. Darrell, any closing thoughts? Yeah,
the Walkaway app is fire. The whole platform is fire. Brandon, you fire. Everybody fire. I'm so glad that she wanted me to make the video. I was like, oh, I guess I'll make it, and I made the video. I wanted to do the car video because I seen all the guys were sitting in the car making their videos and stuff. So I wanted to be like that. So I'm so glad that I did because the feedback and everything that's come from it has just been amazing. And it's definitely what we needed, considering we've been pretty much exiled from everybody.
Excommunicate.
Yeah. I think we all know that feeling. Mm-hmm. Mikey, any closing thoughts?
Yes, come to WalkaCon. Go on Walkaway Social. It's going to be amazing. You guys, the last couple years, in terms of everything happening, has been so depressing, and the right needs to get their mess together. So come, it's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be together. We're going to be setting an example for people who are not on the left, who are not crazy communists, to come out, show up, have fun. And I really think that the one thing that poses the greatest threat to the radical left is joy, which we will have plenty of this weekend. So come on Walkaway Social, make your videos. We want Walkaway videos, so send us your videos.
That too.
Amazing.
That too. Natalie.
I'll second all of that. I love what Mikey just said. I think Andrew Breitbart mentioned being a happy warrior, and the left definitely, they have warriors. They have social justice warriors, but they're not happy.
No.
It is very isolating to walk away. It's not a split thing like it sounded in my story. It takes a long time, and it's very isolating. And I'm pretty outspoken. I'm shy, but outspoken online, and I get into tussles with other conservatives. I get into tussles with other like-minded people, but Walkaway has something special where there is like, I haven't met any of these people in real life, but there is like a camaraderie to where obviously we all don't have to disagree, but it's not just villainizing and, obviously, well, you hate this and that, and you're this kind of thing, and you're a bigot. And that is very special. And it's something that I've only found in Walkaway, leaving aside the right or the left or the center. I only see it in Walkaway consistently. And so it means a lot. And thank you for this.
You're
welcome.
Come to WalkaCon.
Yes.
And come to WalkaCon. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for saying that, because I really feel the same way, and I agree with that. I mean, I think that with Walkaway, I think we sort of exemplify like the true actual way that things should be, like the best of what diversity actually should be, and you've got this huge melting pot. Every time people come to Walkaway events, they're like, oh my God, I saw Black people and brown people and white people and trans people and gay people and straight people. And but everyone like sands that chip on their shoulder, sands that like angry because the left-wing ideology is telling you to be angry about something. I mean, it's really just like a slice of America, the way America really should be. You know, all kinds of people coming together just for the love of truth, love of country, and, you know, love of freedom. And I think Walkaway is awesome too, obviously, but I'm a little biased. Guys, thank you so much for coming tonight. It was really,
Thank
really
you.
great talking with all of
Thank
you.
for
you.
having us.
Thank you. And Darrell and Zakiya will talk offline and get you all hooked up and situated so you can come join us. And WalkaCon's going to be great. So once again, I'm just going to tell everyone, please go to walkawayanniversary.com. Discounted hotels, lots of information, and you can get your tickets there. You can also make a donation there if you would like to sponsor some other any other people to come and join us if you're not able to make it yourself. And in the coming days, we'll put together a proper page for all of you to actually like truly sponsor someone to come to WalkaCon. So, but in the meantime, feel free to make a donation if you would like to do that. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This was great. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Please say a prayer for my mom who's having surgery tomorrow, but we know it's going to go great. And everyone have a good night.
We love
Thank you so
Mrs.
much.
Straka.
All right,
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.